Josephine McKenna. Did you hear that, Josephine? Giuseppe Conte spelling it out in English.
Yes, I'm not sure that that's very reassuring, Francois, for anyone in Brussels trying to make sense of what's going on in Rome at the moment.
Not sure it's very reassuring. And we'll hear Brussels' response on Tuesday. Now, the latest, if I understand correctly, is that the markets have reacted in a cautious manner.
That's right, and I think it's inevitable. We are heading for a showdown here. The Italian Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte said that Italy was not backing down on its decision to commit to a budget that is 2.4% of GDP. Earlier today, the Economy Minister Giovanni Tria sent a letter to the European Commission saying the same thing, saying that Italy recognises that it's outside the EU limits, but this decision is difficult but necessary given the dramatic economic situation that is affecting many Italians. And I think it's also worth saying that both Prime Minister Conte and Giovanni Tria spent a certain amount of time at the weekend trying to convince the populist leaders, the Deputy Prime Ministers Matteo Salvini and Luigi Di Maio, to back down from this stubbornness, this determination to push through with this deficit, to maintain those very costly election promises, introducing a flat tax and the guaranteed income for the poor and the unemployed, which is a big thing for the Five Star Movement. They are not prepared to back down. And that's despite very strong words, incidentally, from Confindustria, the largest manufacturers organisation, that said the government's projection of 1.5% growth next year is really just in the land of fairy tale at the moment.
And this is a two-ring circus because you have, on the one hand, Italy versus the European Commission, but you also have the infighting within Italy's ruling coalition. The populist far-right leader Matteo Salvini, it seems, reneging on one point, which is that tax amnesty.
That's right. It seemed that that was a point of contention in the last few days between the two leaders. Matteo Salvini has backed away from that, apparently, and tried to reach a compromise there. But I think what's also interesting here, Francois, attending this press conference with the Prime Minister today, how many times he said during this press conference, "in my personal opinion." Now, what does that tell you? This is a Prime Minister sitting between these two populist leaders, almost like an umpire, and we have news reports late today showing that the three leaders are going to dinner tonight to try and map out some of their differences. So this does not augur well when the markets have been in free fall. The bond spread is still above 300 points. There are warnings from the European Commission and from the European Affairs Minister Pierre Moscovici saying, who will be paying for this deficit? This is a burden for future generations of Italians because this government is determined to add 37 billion euros to pay for these election promises that they promised in this previous election. So it's going to be a tough road up ahead, I think. And even though Mr. Conte said he's prepared to sit down at the table and try and negotiate with the European Commission, he's got Matteo Salvini and Luigi Di Maio in his back pocket.
Josephine McKenna reporting live from Rome. Many thanks for